400 trillion to one. When you understand that math, how can't you live your life? That's how rare it is to be a human being. And what are you waiting for? Like, you've been given this ridiculous triple miracle. Like, you're literally more likely to win the lotto 10 times in your life than actually have a life. So I ask you, my friends, with this one life, you're gonna sit on your couch and dwell. You're gonna be upset about some shortcoming. You're gonna be upset about that thing that happened last week that fucked you up. I'm asking you, I'm promising you, please take this swing. Make this at bat. I am so tired of people stopping because their uncle critiqued them, or their mom made fun of them along the way, or their girlfriend doesn't think that they can do it. You've got one at bat, 400 trillion to one. Please do something about it. We are living through the greatest era to be alive ever. Yes, there's stuff. I got news for you. There's always stuff. But when you take control of your at bat, when you put it all on yourself, when it's your fault and your wins, when you own it, that's when it starts happening. So please, please squeeze the shit out of your one life.
I love it. I love it. Good morning, family. Rise and shine. Another blessed and grateful day. How do you not like that? Starting off the day with a little bit of Gary Vee. Honestly, that's one of my favorite messages. I've been hearing that one for years, and it's really allowed me to put things into perspective. So that's a little bit of a sneak peek of what the topic is going to be coming into today. We're going to be talking about 400 trillion to one. So let me go ahead and get live on IG before we go ahead and get tapped in. This is going to be a deep one. Let's go. Huge month coming in to March Madness. I love it. So today we're going to be talking about 400 trillion to one, the odds of even being alive, and the fact that we already won the race. We've already beat the odds. Now is the time to really go ahead and step into our greatness. So family, what is a couple things before we get started that everybody's grateful for coming into the day? TGIM. Hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend so far. I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for being able to spend a little time with the family, being able to be a person of service, being able to give back, being able to then be able to feel all of the deep work that's really been being done, right? The morning ritual is getting aligned with the mind, the body, and the spirit. I'm so thankful to even be able to get up and breathe and take a deep breath and hear the birds chirping, feel the sun on my skin, be able to actually spend 15 minutes grounding this morning, really getting deep with the morning rituals, being intentional. Honestly, something that's been worked on for the past 222 days. 22 is my favorite number for everybody. You guys already know. So it's a very special day for me, but let me go ahead and give it right back to you and applaud yourself for you guys taking the step to everybody becoming the best version, because here's the deal. There's no competition with anybody else other than the person that is in the mirror. So be proud of yourself. Go ahead and JM3 yourself. For those that don't know what that means, go ahead and reach your hand up, lean forward a little bit, and give yourself a pat on the back, because if nobody's told you today, I'm proud of you and you deserve it. So here we go, fam. Today's topic, let's go ahead and get into it. Jojo, I love to see it. Fran in the building. Let's go. It's great to see you. I love it. Powerful weekend. All right, so getting into 400 trillion to one. So first thing I want you guys to think about is, what are the odds of us being born? What are the odds of us being alive? You know, people talk about crazy statistics all the time, right? What's the odds of getting struck by lightning? What's the odds of going out and getting hit by a car? What's the odds of, if we happen to go in an airplane and something were to happen, what's the odds of becoming a professional athlete, right? That was something that I was always looking at when I was younger. And if you look at all of these different odds, right, the odds of any one of these happen, the odds of a Category 5 hurricane hitting Florida and being one of the most deadly hurricanes to ever hit right here, that's pretty crazy odds, right? We'd say, you know, upwards of maybe 1 in a million, 1 in a couple 100,000 for some of these things. And yet they still happen to some people. But you know what's interesting? If you look at the odds of us just even being alive, just us being able to sit, talk right here, feel our own hands, feel me? That's 400 trillion to one. When you really actually break down and look at it, we beat 400 trillion other swimmers to be able to sit right here and be alive. So the whole goal of talking about this, to go ahead and preface the training, was to allow each and every one of us to understand and understand how important we are, how unique our own thumbprint is, and how much value that we actually bring to the world. You matter, right? You're loved, and I believe that your light is that light to go out and ripple and to affect countless others positively by you being the one to go ahead and lead by example. So here we go. Couple different things. First thing I want to go ahead and talk about, and a little bit is from Sean as well. So this is going to be good. Okay. School, right? School, a lot of the times when we talk about, for myself, design your life. That's a big thing that we hear a lot, right? Getting around one of our mentors, John Guaman. He made a whole brand called Life by Design. And the whole reason that brand was created is exactly the essence of how it sounds. Every one of us have the ability to go out and create a life by design, but why does it happen to most of us that we end up living and succumbing to an average life, right? 95% of people. Well, the truth is we're designed by who it is that we grew up around, the schools that we went to, the people and the music that we let in our ears. All of these things play such a major role in who it is that we've become sitting right here, right now, right? So here's the habits, just here's the natural programming for most people. And I want you to think about how real this is. Ready? How many people do you think, right? If you were to look at these numbers, they say most people spend less than $7 on their brain, but they easily spend $700 on the outside of their brain. $7, right? Books, audios, investing back in ourselves, but we're so quick to go out and see society go out and drop $700 on things that's not going to make them any money. I hear it all the time. This whole weekend, everybody, I've heard a lot of people online, even just seeing it. Oh, we've got the new rave coming up. We've got these concerts coming up. We've got all these things coming up to do in the summer. They're easily going to go and spend $500, $700, $1,000. But if you look at the first 6 months of the year, how much was actually spent on the brain, on actually growing and developing 1111 Paint Your Vision? Well, guess what, family? This was me, right? If we're being honest, this was myself getting out of college. I was so used to spending money on whatever it is, on clothes, going out, right? Nights most of us were not even going to remember until I started to get out and I realized a couple of different things. Most people getting out of college were not making more than $10, $15, $20 an hour. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I heard one thing, I never looked at life the same. Right before I got out, I got into a couple of different books, and one of them talked about how there's 10 people in the world who have as much money as half of the population. I don't know if that rings your bell a little bit, but to me, that made me ask a lot of questions. I started asking myself, how is it possible for 10 people to be able to create that much income? And guess what? They're probably working a lot smarter. They're probably not working nearly as hard as the construction worker that gets up every day at 7 o'clock in the morning and literally works hands and knees until 7, 8 o'clock at night. So I knew there was a way to break out of the matrix. I knew that we weren't just here to go ahead and exist, being 400 trillion to one, sitting and actually being able to be here. So here's how it really begins, right? Being able to invest in ourselves. Number two is, if you think about a hammer, and I love this analogy that he gave. This was such a great example, okay? A hammer can do one of two things, right? A hammer can break a vase, right? We could take a vase and we could break it, but you know what's interesting? We could also use that same hammer to be able to put that vase back together, right? If we took all the little pieces and we glued each side of it and we took that hammer, we could put this whole thing back together with the same hammer. And this is exactly what I want to talk about when it comes to our business, when it comes to our life. How many of you have ever felt like business is just not going our way, right? Things are just not working out. Could be trading, e-commerce, right? Things are just not flowing. Okay, drop a 2 if you guys have been able to relate. Well, you know what's interesting? The same hammer that created that feeling inside of business, inside of life, guess what? That same hammer has the ability to go ahead and do the exact same thing, but guess what? On a positive side, that hammer has the ability to go ahead and heal and put those pieces back together to create an even better structure than what was there before. This is something I had to learn. Right at the beginning, family, I wasn't very good at talking to people. I was not the best at speaking. I was getting myself out there and doing things that made me uncomfortable. Traveling, did not like to get on a plane. So a lot of these things in my mind, I was broken in all of these different areas. But you know what I started to understand? Every single one of these areas, I was able to go ahead and use that hammer to go ahead and actually build those skill sets. Learning how to go ahead and public speak, building the brand, learning about trading, even diving into e-commerce as we speak. How to use the same hammer to be able to build these skill sets. So when it comes to you all in your business, when it comes to any aspect of life, understand that we have the ability to go out and create the life by design, whether that be the body, whether that be the spiritual side, whether that be relationships with our family and our business partners, right? Any aspect you can think of, we can go ahead and create it, because if you look at the odds that we've already beaten, to me, there's nothing that's really impossible. In fact, if you look at the word impossible, let's go ahead and break that down a little bit. Our company is called I Am Academy, right? The two most powerful words in the dictionary is I am. Well, if you look at the word impossible, let's go ahead and break that down in the chat real quick. I am possible. You see, it's just a little shift, but it's huge for the belief system. And this is where it all begins. So if you can have a little bit more belief, if we can start to really understand what's on the inside of what we're really capable of, you're not going to worry about anybody else's opinions. We're not going to be afraid to fail. We're not going to be worried about going out and trying things, because we understand that we're going to learn more growing in the field than we ever will from just getting on books and Zoom calls and wondering, man, I wonder what would happen if I just went out and tried it, right? That's why I talk to you guys all the time. I would rather be the person to regret the pain of, would you rather the regret of the pain of the journey or the regret of actually wondering what if? Okay. And the last thing I want to go ahead and leave it with today, when it comes to really thinking about the odds, right? The odds of us being here, the odds of us going out and creating success is right here. For doctors, right? If you guys look at doctors, right? For most people that coming in that have cortisone issues, that have a lot of disorders, that have a lot of illnesses, what do you think the number one contributor in different areas is? It's one word. And if you can understand this, like I told you, this is not just to win in business, this is to win in life. What do you think the biggest word is that contributes to all of that? Overweight, cortisone levels, migraines, stress, right? If you look at the word disease, disease is nothing but the body being at dis-ease for too long, creating disease. So why do you think we're so serious about talking about the state? Why do you think we're so intentional about getting on here and talking about the feeling, about how we feel every day? This is why waking up, I highly encourage everybody, if you haven't been able to do this yet, I have it right here. If you wrote down your letter to yourself, right, your congratulations letter to yourself for the year of 2023, actually embodying it, envisioning, and seeing what does your ideal body look like? What do our finances look like? Our relationship with our family, our creator. This is the way that I get in the feeling every day. I jump in here as if I'm reading this December 31st, and I've accomplished all of this success already. Being able to see my family healthy, being able to see them thriving, being able for all of us to travel out to Cancun, Mexico, and experience this P150 Cancun retreat. Being able to see all of you level up in your goals, being able to see all of you step into the highest version. This is all written down for me, and this is all part of the gratitude that comes with being able to eliminate stress inside of life. Because if you've noticed, we can't be grateful and hateful at the same time. So family, with that being said, this is my training for everybody today to really go out and start thinking what it is that we can go out and do when you start believing in ourselves. So it's Monday, TGIM, a couple of different things coming into the week for March Madness. You ready? We've got 3 weeks until March Madness over in Orlando. We've got 2 weeks out in Rotterdam for any of those that would like to go ahead and take the trip. IAM.academy.com/events. You guys can go ahead and get your tickets, get locked in. We've already got the Airbnbs. We've already got the spots locked in and situated. So just know a lot is coming for the month of March. We are setting up for nothing but greatness. If nobody told you that today, family, I appreciate you. I'm grateful. And I'm so fired up for what is to come inside of this month. We're going to have a lot of ka-chings, a lot of withdrawals, a lot of rank ups, a lot of success is already here. And it is your favorite. Remember, you can be, do, and have anything that you can hold in your mind. You can hold it right here in your hand. I love you, fam. Go out and be great. Let's get to it. It's game time.